very beginning. All right, people. Hey, everybody. We just played Pray You Catch Me and Hold Up off of Beyonce's new album, Lemonade. We're back right now for our second segment, which is financial literacy. And I decided that it would be a good idea to focus on financial independence, independent relationships. How about that? So if you're single and you're thinking about merging your money, you like I did that?
It's a big deal.
I know, before I start the segment, let me have a foolish young wretched moment where I was like, people, when I was in high school and they would buy like their significant other gifts and stuff, I didn't even understand that.
Really?
I was like, you gonna spend money on them already? I feel like we too young for that. So like when that same relationship, they moved in together and had a joint account, I was like, what are you doing right
now? I don't believe in joint accounts.
What is you doing?
I don't believe in joint accounts.
I don't know what's going on. I feel like that's a way too adult for me. I'm not that grown yet. All my money got to go to my money. Like, I don't know how to do that. So I think that's funny. It was a joke from me. But I pulled up some articles, just Googling financial literacy and couples, and came up with 4 main points that they wanted to make sure every young couple is acknowledging before they decide to merge their moolah. So, how to split bills. The first was how to split bills. The second, how to budget. And the third, decide who owns the home if you decide to move in together or purchase together. They got you tight over there?
I got a philosophy about that.
And make a co-parenting plan. I actually didn't look into that one too much, but the first 3 I can talk on. So in the article, there was actually 2 articles, and I want to make sure, I'm not sure, like, the radio rules when it comes to stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to get caught up in a plagiarism, so let me acknowledge everybody who needs to be acknowledged. So I pulled this article from Forbes. It actually came out. Wow, this one came out. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't read that one. So, 5 smart financial moves for unmarried couples who live together. This came out in February 3rd, 2015 on time.com under the money section. But I pulled a components of this from other places as well because I don't have 5 right, so apparently I didn't think they were all important. But anyways, how to split your bills. They talked about having a straight down the middle concept of splitting the bills.
Mm-hmm. I'm not interested in that.
Okay.
I mean, I just don't. I think that that's a very practical way to figure out how to manage bills. But before that even happens, you need to have a conversation and an understanding about her expectations and his expectations. And if her expectations are that she is gaining a husband who is a provider, then she may expect that he pay all the bills, but he in turn may expect some things as well. So prior to even get to splitting bills, it should be a discussion about the expectations. So when you do get to this part, you have an understanding about what it's going to be. Even if it does come down to splitting the bills, you have an understanding. And I think that's where a lot of couples blow it. You got some pre stuff to do before you even get there.
I didn't even consider other options. I was like straight down the middle. That just seemed like the natural occurrence to me, but they actually came up with a couple different scenarios that you could have. Splitting the bill straight down the middle, and they had one person covering housing costs, so that's all the expenses of the house, but maybe outside work or building or treats and stuff that was handled by the next person.
Okay.
The auxiliary of living together.
Yeah, okay.
Groceries and stuff like that.
Right. That type of thing. And then the final, they said split by percentages in comparison to who actually makes the most. So splitting the bills in comparison to your actual income. So the scenario they gave in the book is like a young IT media worker, female, would pay 70% of the bills because she was making more, opposed to maybe like a traditional service job, a call center guy where he would pay 30% of the bills, but would also be expected to handle those outside of the house. So entertainment, trips and dates, traveling, all that would come out of his paycheck.
Well, this will be all good as long as they having fun because, as the article says, 5 smart financial moves for unmarried couples. So this is all good as long as they're having fun. You know, at some point in time, she may get tired of being 70%.
Yeah. I didn't see that as being a realistic method because you can directly see the disparity in with the so I would always be in the mood of you only get 30% anyways.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, like when you pay 50% or 70% of the bill, then you could have 70% of the input.
right.
Right now you only get 30%.
That would come up in every argument,
Yeah.
like so.
Yeah.
You a 30% due right now.
Yeah, so and that is exactly why prior to even getting to decisions like that, you have to have an understanding about the
Oh
expectations.
my God, I can see a woman going right now. You only 30% my man anyway.
Right. See, and who wants that? Who, or you only 30% of my woman anyway. You're not contributing to this, you know, to everything that's happening here. You just a minor player in this. You a bench warmer. Forget that.
You a small time investor or
Yeah,
whatever.
right. Right. So it happens way before then. What else they got?
They talked about how to budget some with expenses. The issue can be that you have to expect the person to have that same amount of money every month so it could get to the point where you're not actually paying your percentage because you have to continuously ask for the money opposed to it just being there. So they wanted you to have an expense sheet and then have an actual bank account dedicated to all the housing costs. So you wouldn't have to talk to her directly or she wouldn't have to talk to you directly. So let's say, for instance, you have an argument, but that bill coming up, you ain't got to worry about going over to her and say, you're going to put that $100 in. She's expected to put that $100 into the joint account because she understands or he understands that all the expenses come out of that.
But sometimes with that, it takes me back to the where you have a lot of money and you have an accountant and the accountant runs the expenses or whatever, pays out that whatever, and the accountant stop paying your bills because he's mad at you or whatever, and you're thinking that he's supposed to do it because it's expected of him, and you find out millions of dollars later that he ain't been doing what he was supposed to be doing. I don't know if I like that because no, we need to have a conversation at the time the bill is due. I don't care how mad we are.
I agree with that.
We need to know, is this bill getting paid? I need to know before it's $500-$600 in arrears. And I'm like, well, what the hell happened?
You're right. I agree with her. Right. And what if you have this account, everybody's expected to put in what they're supposed to put in. Let's say, for instance, you putting $100 in and that $100 go toward the light bill because the average cost of the light bill is $100. But you over here got all the lights on in the house and the bill is $200 a month. So now what? You know, I think the conversation needs to take place every month about, expectations in terms of what expenses are going to be and how we're going to keep them at a level where we can afford them. And we have to stick to it. That means that makes me accountable and it makes you accountable too.
I don't know. I'm not emotionally invested in this because I was like, money? Look, we not split my coin, so this ain't nothing we don't even have to talk about. Like, you got yours because I got mine. But the next, go ahead. That's now until you want to start to share. I love that much, but I don't trust that much.
So what happens? Like I've seen. I've been following there's a thing broke on purpose. Now, of course, they're married or whatever. But basically, they said we're going to work together to pay down our student loans, meaning that one person, they're going to pay everything they have is going towards their student loans, and the other person takes care of the expenses of the house. And then once they paid theirs off, then vice versa. And they went and they said, okay, now I'm done with mine, so all my money is going towards the expenses, and you pay off your loans. So how does that work?
It worked like Sister Nancy. No. Okay.
Do that?
We're gonna pay both of ours off simultaneously.
That's
That's a plan.
That's-
That's how you do it together.
So you telling me we gonna pay yours all the way out, and I gotta count on you to keep the deal when it's time to pay mine off?
if y'all ride or die, then that's what it's supposed to be.
Because I've seen couples that said we paid off $150,000 in loans in 3 years,
Yeah.
and that's how they do it. Because one person, okay, I make enough to be able to sustain the both of us, and you can put the majority of your money towards that or whatever. So
I get it. I understand it.
I mean,
But from a personal standpoint, yeah, I might love you that much, but I ain't gonna never trust you
So
that
you
much.
think somebody? So you are of the mind that somebody may flake. So
Yes.
you not even going there.
I know it. Not even somebody. I ain't gonna flake because I know who I am. I love that much, but I don't trust that much. I don't know what you about to do, so we're not even gonna go down that road.
but then how can you be with somebody that you don't trust?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that is higher than, to me, that's love and trust has to go.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm set up differently, but that's just the part of my life I've had to adapt to. Like, I don't trust nobody. I love y'all, but I understand the dynamics of people, and because of that, I never eliminate what is possible. Like, oh, so and so ain't gonna do that to me. I don't play them games. So and so could do that to me. It's in the cards. So to set up a situation where I know how pissed I would be if it was to go off, I wouldn't do that, because if they did play me, I wouldn't be mad at nobody but myself, and I'm about to create that inner turmoil for myself.
Well, I don't know if I would call it inner turmoil. I would just say it's just you got played. That's all it is, and you keep it moving.
I said, but in that instance, I wouldn't think they played me. I would think I played myself, because
Well,
you walked into this situation knowing it could happen, and you decided to let it happen anyways.
Well, in a trust situation, you are taking some risk.
Yeah.
And I mean, as long as you live in, you're gonna have situations where you're gonna be in some particular predicaments, whether it's in a relationship with a person, or it's a coworker, or it's a job. There is going to have to be some type of trust extended. You're going to be out there straddling a little bit, and you got to count on somebody to do their part. And it don't always happen. You just hope that it does happen more times than it doesn't happen.
Right.
You know, that you don't have to have risk involved where it falls through.
Life it's full of risk. I mean, that's what it's about. And so everything you do, it could possibly something can go wrong. You can walk down the street.
It could go sideways easy.
And and fall in a manhole that you didn't see. You don't know what happens. It's just, that's the way of life. But you have to navigate it.
Well, to move on a little bit, the third component was the risk of deciding to own a home together, and the risk in whose name is on that title.
Okay.
So they wanted people to understand that if you only allow one name on the title, then only one person is required to be compensated in the sale of that home. So if you've been paying towards the mortgage, you put a down payment on, and you're not actually on the title, they have no financial or legal obligation to give you anything from the sale of that home. If you are both on there, then yes, you do have a legal obligation, but at the same time, they don't take into account the amount invested. So if you're going to put the person's name on there, understand that they are entitled to a 50% split, although they haven't made a 50% investment. So that was kind of the catch-22 that they put out in the article. And if you are married, this is a caveat for you guys, and you decide, or not even, if you just decide to split the home in general, they wanted to make the note to women, because she was a financial advisor for women and women empowerment, that if you do decide to take the illiquid, so not liquid, and liquidity in finances means that you can turn the asset itself or the product into cash, hard cash. Homes at times are illiquid because it's hard to sell it and get the ready amount. So her warning was that you don't take all the illiquid assets. You want to make sure that you're taking some cash, something that could be readily turned into money, because oftentimes they take these $250,000 homes and don't actually have any cash flows coming through and lose the home. So in essence, lose the whole divorce settlement. So be cognizant of the what you're taking on, because you are expected to pay that mortgage without him. So
and I think that one is a cautionary tale, because that happens a lot. Where you've had this standard of living, women out there who have married and now don't have the income to be able to cover where you're living. In which case, I would advise
that
you live someplace. You live someplace that you can afford to live.
Right.
And he might want a bigger house. He might want a bigger house, but when you're thinking about it in your mind, if that smaller house is something that you can afford and is nice enough, then that's the one you should be buying.
And I know this is something that should probably be taken care of by your lawyer, but make sure you thoroughly understand your capacity to pay towards whatever you're taking on. Like, there's options. The woman just expect the house. I'm the woman, I want the house, and not taking into account that you have to pay for this after he's gone, or what the expenses of the house actually are. So it might be in your best interest to push the house and take the money and live a reasonable but lower lifestyle. So that was the last
Or you can roll together and make sure the house is paid off. So you don't have those problems where you gotta, who gonna maintain the mortgage?
Some women can't even pay the taxes on the house when the marriage is over.
This is very true. It's very true.
But the final point they made, and I don't even want to do too much talking on this. We probably spent too much time in financial literacy in comparison to what we have to talk about, which is Beyonce anyways. But make a co-parenting plan. So you do want to make sure your kids are taken care of. So if there's going to be a child support settlement, if there's going to be an expected income every month in regards to the kids, put that in writing, like at the beginning. They talk about prenuptials for non-married couples. There's actually a term for it. It's called no nuptials, and it kind of covers the basic legal standards that a prenup would, but have them implemented without marriage.
Is that right?
So you can actually visit a lawyer and ask for a no nuptial.
Is that right?
I didn't know
That's
that.
news to me.
Yeah.
Yep. Securing those relationships even without the rings. So that was the last point we had in financial literacy this week. I hope you take those things into consideration before you bunk with your boo. Speaking of bunking with your boo, I think what song should we play from Lemonade that kind of plays into what we're talking about right now? So Elise's favorite song is number 6, Daddy's Lesson. Oh yeah.
Daddy's Lesson?
He said shoot. Daddy said shoot.
That's right. That's what Daddy said, and you see him coming.
Or are we not sorry?
Or if you talk about women, you need to get your paper, stack it, and don't let him distract you from your grind. That's 6 inches.
She wants a 6 inch.
No,
Okay.
I don't. But I'm just saying, if you want to segue into women protecting their investment,
6 inch it is.
All right, there you go. 6 inch, y'all. Hey, everybody. We're back for our final segment